Hello and welcome to this information session on the Postgraduate taught Certificate, Diploma and Master's Programmes in Food, Nutrition and Health at University College Dublin. My name is Damien Dempsey and I'm being delighted to be joined today by my wonderful colleague and Programme Director for these exciting programmes, Dr. Aideen McKevitt. Aideen not only established and developed this exciting range of programmes, but is also responsible for introducing a number of new innovations to the programme, which have undoubtedly contributed to the success of the course, which is one of the most highly regarded online programmes delivered at University College Dublin. Welcome, Aideen, and thanks for joining us.
You're welcome, Damien.
Now, Aideen, I might invite you to introduce some of the key points about the programme, and then we might respond to some questions that come in the chat box.
Well, Damien, the programme was developed in response to a stated need by individuals who wanted to change their career, people from a variety of different scientific backgrounds who decided that they would like to move into a new area. So the area is food, nutrition and health, and the food specifically relates to the food science end of food, nutrition and health. So altogether, all of the modules were designed to give people an overview of possibilities for their careers, whether people wanted to move into the food industry, for example, or people who wanted to move into the more marketing end of food, or people who wanted to gain a deep, scientifically evidence-based program in nutrition. And over the years, we began this program in 2013. A number of students have graduated from the program, and many of them have gone on to develop very exciting careers. For example, one individual that comes to mind who actually had a background in business undertook the program, and he gained a graduate traineeship with one of the major food companies in the world. Other students have chosen to use this program as a springboard, for example, if their interest veers towards the area of dietetics. Others have moved into academia. Many people have used the program to set up their own industries and their own businesses. People who have a strong background in, for example, physical activity and or a physical activity, nutrition and food. They've been enabled to do all of that. But the key issue about this program is that it is stringently science and evidence-based. And it is very interesting, I find, when I go through all the applications, some of the misconceptions that potential applicants have based on non-scientific reading. And what our job is and what we do is that our students are given a thorough, in-depth understanding, or help students to understand the science base of all issues related to food, nutrition and health.
Okay. Thank you, Aideen. And I guess just on that point, maybe just to comment specifically on eligibility, I know one of the big successes has been that you've been able to accommodate students from a wide range of different backgrounds. Yes. Just for people who are maybe logging in today, who are maybe wondering if they're eligible, could you maybe just comment on that specifically? What types of degree students are welcome on the programme?
Well, our students come primarily from a science-based background. So we've had people who have degrees in engineering and biomedical science, in medicine, in dentistry, but also there are individuals who really want to change their career. And many of these individuals may be operating in different careers, for example, in business or in other areas. And we review these individuals on a case-by-case basis. The primary requirement is a level 8 degree from a recognized institution in an area. Now, that's the primary, that doesn't change. But each student writes an individual personal statement, and I interview each student from a different background, or who has a different educational experience, to assess their suitability, but most importantly, to let them know that our foundation modules, which students take in the first semester, are the chemistry of nutrients, introduction to nutrition, and physiology and metabolism. So what many students find is that the module called the chemistry of nutrients can be quite challenging for them, particularly if they come from a very different background. But with the correct, with effort, focus, and determination, these students, and many of them, have been hugely successful and find, you know, that when they get through what we call the chemistry of nutrients, they're very well positioned to develop, to build on that scaffolding of the basic modules to develop into the rest of the MSc. So the key thing is that the program director interviews each individual student to assess their suitability.
Thank you, Aideen, for that. And again, just to mention, I've spoken to a number of students from a non-science background who have successfully completed the program, and they have really kind of highlighted the fact that it's provided them with an opportunity to accelerate their career in an exciting area that they're interested in, despite not having the science-based background. So I know it's been wonderfully successful from that point of view. Aideen, another question here on the chat box just relates to the fact that this is an established online program. Mm-hmm. You mentioned it's commenced in around 2013 at UCD, so it's a completely online delivered program. Yeah. Just for students who are maybe working, could you give us some sort of sense of the time commitment maybe one might expect with undertaking the program?
Well, for students who are working or who have family commitments, this is an ideal format for them. And we advise students there is a certain maximum number of modules that they can take. But I would say many students, they find it challenging. It involves evening work and weekend work, because the students are given a calendar at the beginning of each semester showing their lectures and their assignments and the due dates. So they have a very clear picture from day one exactly what is required of them. So it requires more than time, it requires commitment and dedication and focus. But our students are very carefully selected and they demonstrate those qualities before they begin the program. And people don't apply for this program without giving it a lot of thought. And for very often, many of the students have been toying with the idea of applying for this master's, you know, over a period of time until they find they're in the right position to do so. Particularly people who come from, for example, the health sciences background, it's very interesting that they would have had no formal training in nutrition in their education, and this program fulfills a particular niche. There is no other program of the equivalent standard anywhere globally.
And Aideen, just on that point, I guess, in relation to the duration of the program, is it possible then for students to maybe progress on the program at a different pace to others, depending on your circumstances? The fast, I suppose, if somebody was on the, let's call it the fast track to completing the program, the master's program, the duration to complete, what's the minimum duration within which one could complete the master's?
The minimum duration is 2 academic years. However, that is, you know, it's very challenging. Some students can do that, but others, typically the duration is 90 credits over a period of 3 years, which makes it very doable for most of our students, which means 30 credits a year. But some people take up to 4 years. This program is very flexible and allows students, you know, to work at their own pace, which is the key thing. But also to use the scaffold, the structure of the first semester, to build up on that over a period of time. Many students, for example, one said she has been working online in many, many countries all over the world because her job involves a great deal of global travel. So, you know, and we have students from different time zones and different countries. And we take all of that into consideration. But the key thing also about our students is our students are mature adult individuals. So they are taking this master's to give them a specific qualification to allow them to develop their careers in a particular direction that they have chosen. And that is the very interesting thing about our students. They come from a wide variety of backgrounds and they help one another. So our program is based on a lot of cooperation between both the academic staff and the students. And that makes the program work very well.
You mentioned at the beginning there, you alluded to some of the modules in the earlier stages of the program. I wonder, would it be useful just to give a sense of the types of modules students might be exposed to? Where did you complete this program?
Well, in the first semester, there are 3 modules which every student takes, which are the chemistry of nutrients, as I have explained, which is basic chemistry, which evolves into the biochemistry of the major macronutrients, carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. And this is a magnificent module, as is Introduction to Nutrition, where the foundations of evidence-based nutrition are laid, and physiology and metabolism. So these 3 modules form the scaffold for typically the second semester modules would typically include food chemistry, what are called nutrients in the life cycle, and what's called omic strategies, research methods in nutrition. And in addition, some students, in addition to 3 modules, might choose a 4th module, depending on what we have set down as the prerequisites. So the program is very carefully designed so that you can't lurch into material that is typically taken in the final semester before we have laid down exactly the learning pathways that students would typically take.
I know you have an exciting spread there of modules around public health, nutrition, and food,
Yes.
microbiology, and nutrition in the life cycle. They would be modules that typically students would really enjoy on this course.
I think that, in fact, every year we conduct a final program evaluation where we ask our students to tell us their experience of the masters. And this yields very interesting information because, as I said before, we have a lot to learn from one another. These students bring a wealth of experience and different backgrounds to our program. So it's a collegiate exercise, which is very important.
And Aideen, I guess the other point there, just maybe to provide an insight for students into the teaching platform or the online platform and how the course is actually delivered in an online environment.
Yes. Well, when a student registers on the program, they are a fully fledged student of UCD, and their experience should differ not at all from the experience of being on campus. And this is particularly important with master's level students who have already undertaken an undergraduate degree. So their needs and expectations are different, but as such, they have access to all of the resources of UCD that any student, if they're on campus, can have. So, for example, they have access to all of the library resources, to the career resource, even to the sports centre for those who live in Dublin. But what is really pleasing is to see so many students who actually come to visit us during the course of their studies in UCD, when they're fully fledged UCD students. And it is our aim that they get the UCD student experience, albeit online. Now, we use the learning platform. It's called Brightspace. And Brightspace allows the students to access all of their lectures, their webinars, tutorials, online classes. And, you know, we've been doing this for many years now, so it works very well for the student cohort. So they can download all their lectures, they can save them, they can use them to study at whatever time suits them. So it's very flexible and convenient method for students. Particularly our student cohort are very much self-starters, and understand the requirements of learning online, and they're very independent as well. So, and also they acquire wonderful computer skills during the course of this MSc. And it stands them in good stead, regardless of which way they want to develop their career.
And Aideen, just that, I mean, that's really, really helpful. And I guess I know for students who are logged in terms of assessments, wondering, do they need to come to UCD to complete their assessments, or is that completed in the virtual space as well?
It's completed in the virtual space. Our aim at this Masters, it is a level 9 program. So our ultimate aim in education is to develop and enhance students' higher level cognitive skills. And these are the skills of interpretation, analysis, synthesis, and evaluation. So that is the aim at level 9 in every one of the modules that students take. So the assessments are made online, and they're complex assessments that mimic the real world situation. So in some modules, for example, in food regulation and food quality and safety, students are given assignments that would mimic work that they might be required to do if they worked in an agency for government or some other or public health agency. These are the kinds of real world assignments that students are required to do. And as such, they require deep thought and analysis, but don't require, of course, the students to come to UCD to do exams. And where there is an exam requirement, students can do this using a system called Remote Proctor. And this is a system that's used particularly in the food processing module, which is extremely innovative and has worked extremely well for us for the last 7 years.
Aideen, thanks for that. And I guess the other question that maybe that occurs to me is that I know you, as I mentioned at the beginning, were responsible for establishing and developing this program. Mm-hmm. You're a staff member within the School of Agriculture and Food Science. Of course, UCD is ranked in the top 1% of universities in the world. The School of Agriculture and Food Science is also regarded in the top 50 in the world for the subjects that they offer. You're also a member of the Institute of Food and Health. But I know that it was very important to you that this was a collaborative program when you were developing the program, and even at the conceptual stages. There are other schools that and expertise available across UCD that contributed to this program. Would you maybe just comment on that, please?
Again, this is if you look at, for example, the Institute of Food and Health in UCD, it is a sort of a hub for all researchers across different schools who are working on relevant projects. And that is the Institute of Food and Health. And, you know, we run, the UCD Institute, the Institute runs a public lecture series, and that's available online now at the moment. The School of Public Health and Physiotherapy, they provide modules on this program. And we have collaborators from across the university, because this is an interdisciplinary masters, and there is no other masters of this caliber delivered and offered from any university globally.
Thank you, Aideen. And I guess I'm just looking here at some of the, again, questions coming in relation on the chat box here, relevant to the program, and that are frequently received from prospective students. If somebody signs up to the Masters and perhaps life circumstances, they're working, their commitments change outside, just could you maybe discuss how they might exit that and maybe receive the award of a certificate or a diploma, and what maybe is entailed, or what's entailed to exit with one of those qualifications?
Well, the MSc is awarded after students have taken 90 credits. However, there are exit points. One of the exit points is at the diploma level, which is 60 credits, or at the certificate level, which is at 30 credits. And that depends on if students may get a new job, and they may have to leave because they wouldn't have time with their new job. So they're the exit routes for the students. And we find that most students complete their MSc and effectively, students don't leave the program once they've started, except to take an early exit.
And then again, Aideen, another question here in relation to careers, just, you know, is it more suited for people, and I'm not sure it's an either or, but the question, is it graduates who would like to upskill within the food industry or to change track to be able to enter the nutrition sector or other sectors?
The interesting thing here is that there's a sufficient number of modules to allow people to take, you know, to decide that if they want to move in the food industry, there are certain modules that would be more suited to them. But there is an entire suite of modules as well, which can be taken by students who have a definite career path into the nutrition area, so that they effectively can take the program, and there is the Association for Nutrition of the UK apply for individual membership of the AFN, and that is based on a portfolio that they develop themselves. But the program as we offer it can be taken to demonstrate to students can demonstrate that they have achieved the learning outcomes for an associate nutritionist as offered by the Association for Nutrition of the UK, because nutrition is not a regulated profession, and as such it is our vision that we offer students the potential to take the modules to allow them to become associate registered nutritionists by application to the UK. And that is extremely important, because there are so many non-accredited programs which are available online and face-to-face, and it is what our program does is offer an evidence-based scientific approach to the study of nutrition, or in the area of food science, where students can make their careers in the food industry and move from, say, you know, it could be marketing to new product development and in food, which some students have done, and or into a regulatory sector, or in government. There is a variety of routes, and students, you know, don't necessarily make the decision at the beginning, but they may find as they progress through the program that their interests have changed. And also, we like to keep in touch with our students to see how they're getting on, and it's because they're a highly motivated group in the first place. They do very well.
And I think actually, Aideen, you may have even anticipated the next question that was coming through. This is somebody who must be working in the nutrition and health sector, perhaps providing advice, health and nutrition advice to clients, and is wondering, you know, this is a dynamic space. He's looking for a qualification to provide him with the confidence or the knowledge to underpin the advice that he's delivering in his career. Would the course be suited to an individual like that? Would you have people maybe in the health and nutrition world, if you like, who have signed up to the program?
I think that's a very important question, because there are quite a number of non-accredited programs on offer from a variety of different so-called agencies. Many of our students who do apply to our program say that what they're having reviewed, you know, what is on offer, what they really want is a program that, for example, in the area of nutrition, that doesn't, you know, use faddiness or some stuff that's quite, you know, that's actually dangerous. Our students are scientifically trained, evidence-based nutrition, and that is what we do, and that is why we developed this program, because it's needed.
A couple of other questions. I maybe can take this one. The next question, and please interrupt me if I'm on the wrong track here, but a question in relation to obviously COVID-19 and what impact that might have on the future delivery of the program from next September. But the fact that this course is an online program, am I correct maybe in saying, Aideen, that it's likely to be very minimal, if any, impact from COVID-19 with this program?
our program has been deliberately designed to be fully online. COVID has absolutely no impact on our program, on our delivery of our program. In terms of our students, the impact could be in terms of health or family commitments, and we have the ability to be flexible under those circumstances because of the kind of delivery that we give. So this is an ideal program for people who are, for example, people who might be, in the stages of lockdown, but on a day-to-day basis, this COVID pandemic has had no impact on us at all.
Yeah, no, that's good. I think it's particularly relevant, as you mentioned, at the moment. The next question, again, just in relation to the application deadline, I guess because it's an online program, perhaps you're not constrained by resources in the same way as an offline course might be, and you maybe are a little bit more flexible in terms of keeping that application deadline open. Would you like to maybe just comment on that, Aideen, please?
We allow students to, you remember that it's towards the end, usually towards the end of the summer, that people really begin to focus their minds clearly. So we accept applications in theory up until about the middle of August, but we prefer applicants to apply early, simply because it allows us to assess them and allows us to advise them on what they might need to do to make sure that they're ready to start on the first day when lectures are delivered. So again, flexibility is something that we can have in this program.
I might just come in and again, you may have mentioned this earlier in our conversation, but is it possible for people who are maybe more interested in nutrition to receive accreditation for their qualification, upon completion of the program?
Well, we have a designated pathway in the program handbook, it's called the nutrition route for students who are more interested in nutrition. And on completion of the exact modules that are given, those students demonstrate that they have, and they can demonstrate that they've achieved the learning outcomes, then they can apply for recognition by the individual recognition by the Association for Nutrition, which is the voluntary register of nutritionists in the UK. And initially, students from this program who would apply for associate registered nutritionists, because as I said before, nutritionist isn't a regulated title, although there are moves both in Ireland and the UK to have that changed.
That's great, Aideen, and thanks for that clarification. I'm just looking at the questions, Aideen. I think that's all of the questions that I have on my screen. Before we complete, is there anything additional or any additional points that you think might be particularly relevant that you'd like to mention?
Our program we adapt our program, and we're continuously looking at our program to see, are there any areas that we might change or that we might improve? And to do that, we maintain a very close collaboration with our students. I think that's key to this program, in that the students feel that they are engaged with their lecturers. We have a series of tutors the tutors are the day-to-day contact with the students, so that students don't have, any issues that they may have, whether personal issues, academic issues, can be dealt with quickly and easily. And the idea that we also hold a welcome day at the end of August each year to welcome our new students to the program and to allow them to make connections with one another, perhaps, depending on where they live. But as I said, we have students who come from all over the world and who bring with them their various experiences, for the benefit of the entire group on this program.
Thank you, Aideen. I think that's a really good point on which to finish in terms of the international network that is the Master's Certificate and Diploma in Food, Nutrition and Health program. Yes. So thank you, Aideen. I'd like to thank everyone who has joined in today to find out about our programs in Food, Nutrition and Health at University College Dublin. If you'd like to find out more, you can visit us on our website at www.ucd.ie/agfood, or you can follow us at UCD Ag Food. We'll also be putting up some more resources, including a video in relation to the Food, Nutrition and Health program, and we'd be delighted to answer any questions that you might have. Thanks again.
Can I just make one last comment, Damien?
Do indeed, yeah.
Our program is advertised in UCD online, and students can find out more information about the program there.